Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co.
And I am Ricky, today reviewing Point Galaxy.
Point Galaxy is a game from Flat Out Games. This over here is a prototype, all rules and components subject to change, and I'll have a link to the crowdfunding campaign down below. The basic idea of Point Galaxy is you are trying to gather cards to put into your galaxy. You're building a galaxy, that's all you're doing. You're going to start with the sun over here, and then you're going to add a variety of these cards to your galaxy in an effort of scoring as many points as possible. And then I guess we can do this one of two ways. Do you want to start taking turns? Should I teach people what they do?
You can show what they do and I'll take the turn.
Sounds like a plan. So every single card is going to score for you in a variety of ways. Well, each card scores in its own different way, but every card is good. The question is how you're adding them. You see, there are a bunch of different cards. We have them in our galaxy. We have the planets, which are likely going to be the bulk of the cards you score. Really? And you can see my sun over here is going to score for wanting green and orange planets in that galaxy. So if I add them there, that's what I want. So this green and orange would be great for me, which brings us to the turn structure. The turn structure is you take two cards from this tableau, and you have the planets down here, and then you have the alternative cards up here. Although when you draft a planet, you're going to go ahead and put the other card face down as a new planet. So these are going to rotate downwards and come into the grid as a new planet. That's what's going to happen as you draft. Each turn you draft two cards, add them to your galaxy, and the different card types are suns, which give you things that you want to have in your galaxy, planets, which you're going to want to fulfill your sun conditions, but also each solar system you have, each little galaxy you have, is going to score points based on the number of ascending or descending planets you have. Planets have numbers from 1 to 7, and you want to either put them in ascending order or descending order. Note that does not mean sequential. You don't need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you do need to do 1, 3, 5, 7, or whatever it is. Although the problem is you do want to have as many numbers as possible, because on your scoring card it's going to tell you that you score up to 12 points for having 7 different unique numbered planets per system. The good news is one of the card types is a wormhole. Wormholes allow you to go ahead and reverse the pull of gravity. If you're going 1, 3, 5, 7, you can now reverse direction and go from 1, 3, 5, 7 down back to 6 and 2 and whatever numbers you missed in that system. It reverses the pull of gravity, allowing you to get back to numbers you skipped. So now you know planets, now you know wormholes. Let's talk about moons. Moons will go into your galaxy, and you either have single color moons or double colored moons. A single colored moon simply wants a green planet above or below it. So effectively, as you draft this card, you can put that card above or below in the sequential galaxy as you draft them. And that'll be worth 2 points, assuming it has a green card above or below. Dual colored moons give you an extra point. They're 3 points instead of 2, but you have to have a blue and green, one above, one below, forcing you to a bit more restriction. You also have asteroids. Those are going to be useful to whoever gathers the most asteroids will get the most points, then second most, then third most points. And I feel, am I missing anything else, or is that all the card types? We have suns, moons, wormholes, asteroids, planets, and that's all the card types.
It's rather hilarious that we did not pick and choose these. These were put out randomly. Yeah. And yet we have what we need for Michael and what we need for Miracle.
Yeah, that's true.
And in the right, and in ascending and descending order.
Well, the last thing to cover over here is that you are going to have these little scientific research symbols as well as rockets. These symbols on these cards over here, so you see over here we have one, over here we have one. As you collect sets of them in your galaxy, you're going to score points, again, up to 12 points for unique resource icons in your galaxy. So you want to get as many of those as possible. And then lastly, there's rockets. There are going to be rockets on different cards, giving you a variable number of rockets. And as you get those rockets, for every 5 rockets you get, which means when you get to 5, then 10, then 15, you will take one of these bonus scoring tiles, of which, by the way, there's a whole ton of these, and these aren't even all. There's like a bonus pack as well, which I assume you get for backing the crowdfunding campaign, but there's a bonus pack as well. These all give you various ways to get extra bonus points. So, for example, you can get 1 point for every rocket. You get points for all these sets of cards you have. This over here?
I missed a card.
I missed a card? What did I miss? Planet X? Oh, there's Planet X! Is that what you meant?
Yep. Yeah,
Planet X. These are specific planets that give you some degree of flexibility, but at the cost of not being colored or giving you bonus symbols. So flexibility to get your number system, but also at a cost.
Which was really useful that when that one time we played, you know, when we got 1, 2 in that entire game.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to that too. Anyways, that's basically what you do. You draft all the cards until you go back and forth until the players have gotten the right amount, until you deplete the cards. You're going to set up with such a number of cards based on the players. Once those are depleted, that will trigger endgame, and players will have their starting sun plus all the cards they drafted in their galaxy and score, ideally, more points than the other players. That would be how you win the game. That is how you play Point Galaxy. From there, let's talk about our review. Ricky, what do you think about the game?
Can we do the gameplay?
We can do the turns. We're doing partial gameplay, not full gameplay over here. Go ahead, Ricky. Take any 2 cards. Ooh, starting with a 6 over here. Okay, so 6, you're working your way downwards, I have to assume. Oh, you went down 6 down to a 5. You took a purple and a blue planet, so that's perfectly lined up. Now, at the end of the player's turn, that's when these cards come down into the galaxy, which gives me 2 5s, which is not helpful. As much as I want these oranges, I don't want 2 5s. So maybe I'll take the one that gives me some research symbols, which is not bad. This 6-5 could work for me. I also want greens. I could just go down to 5-4. You know what? Let's do... yeah, what do I want? What do I want? We got these over here. We got purple, green. Oh, no, that's not going to help me either. I think I will just go with the 6-5, even though it's not my actual color that I want. I do like the idea of locking in those research symbols as soon as I can. What are you laughing at?
Look at the name on the 6.
The name on the 6? 6. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. All right, Ricky, go ahead and take a turn. We'll play through like 2 or 3 turns, and then we'll just go to
7.
the... Oh, the 7's a little too late. Oh, what are you going to grab over here? We got a new sun. Oh, 2 asteroids. Okay. Well, we got a new sun in play. And I think for my turn, I will go ahead and start a new galaxy, because the benefit of starting a new galaxy is I got this one over here, which rewards me for pink planets. And guess what one we have over here? A pink one.
Another little pink planet.
Yep. And then we're going to go ahead and flip this out over here to you, Ricky.
Oh, that's nice.
We'll take a turn more each, and then we'll just go to our thoughts. But you can see how the drafting basically works as far as the thought process. Ooh, you got a purple over there. Okay, now you just need a blue. And again, you don't refill the display until the end of your turn.
I know, it's annoying.
It's the worst. It is absolutely the worst. Start with a new sun. You gotta get a new galaxy going at some point.
Do I though?
I mean, if you play the game with a single galaxy, I would be very, very impressed.
I played with more galaxies.
Oh, wow, look at this. Per wormhole and moon. See, not all suns reward you for galaxies, for planets. Sometimes they reward you for other things.
Oh, that's a cute
okay. We got this down here. We do have a wormhole, which nicely reverses the flow of gravity, but I don't want to do that just yet. This one's simply a point for every red. That's such a commitment. Pink. That's such a commitment, though. I don't want that kind of commitment. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. Do we have a 4 in this display? We do. I want this 4 over here.
In other words, there isn't enough pinks out.
Okay, and we need a 3 ideally, but I don't know if there is a 3. I could go straight to a 1, which is not the worst over here. You know what? Am I crazy like that? Am I crazy to go straight to a 1, Ricky? Or do I fight you on the asteroids? Or no, we're going to go for a moon. We're going to go for a moon over here. We're going to draft the moon. Beautiful. We got our first moon in play. And that's basically how you play. We go back and forth, continuing this little process until eventually we went through all the cards and see who won. Which means it's review time, Ricky. What do you think of Point Galaxy?
I think this is a very, very fun game. That has really cute artwork, really cute theme, and a bunch of different ways you can score, which I like. I like those types of games. We have a bunch of different ways you can go, as long as they give you enough turns to go a few different ways.
Yep, it's true. The game gives you a bunch of stuff to go through in the game. It's all about trying to find those point scoring combinations. You are working with a limited tableau, so you're just trying to figure out not tableau, a limited grid of where you can gather cards from. You're trying to figure out what works best for you. Sometimes you have very obvious choices of what you can take. Other times you're like, I don't know, do I start a new galaxy? Do I jump a sequence? So there are some harder decisions as far as whenever the perfect cards are there, it's not hard. Just take the perfect cards. When the perfect cards aren't there, you're kind of going with how do I think this will best work for my system. The game teaches very quickly. It plays very quickly. The variability in the rockets gives you a ton of little extra ways. Like, you're going to want to pay attention to the rockets as you start the game, trying to see how you can synchronize what you're doing in your own personal tableau with the rockets. And then the main question is, can you get those rockets? And which rockets do you go for? A locked-in 3 points or the potential for more? There's a lot of fun little things to do. And then, as Ricky mentioned, the artwork is, charming and fun. And you will pull out moons and planets that you're like, ooh, like, look at this little green-blue moon.
Yeah, there's this one planet that's really pretty. I'm going to go search for it, actually.
Oh, yeah, search for take from these stacks. There's so many stacks of cards. So many stacks of cards. And it also plays a variety of players as well, because, again, so many stacks of cards. Anything else you like? Do you want to touch upon things you don't like?
I like the fact that you're actually able to pick and choose suns. I like that.
Yeah? You mean in terms of just from the grid in general?
I like that you're able to take new suns and try to go for something else.
Yeah, there are a lot of options.
And I like how you don't have to go in order for numbers.
Yeah. As far as things I don't like, so there's really just 2 kind of things I touched on over here. Found it? What, this sun or the galaxy?
The planet.
Ooh.
Remember this one?
Manganex.
I love that one. It was so pretty.
Yeah, you see, this was saying this is a cute art game. As far as things I don't like in the game, there's really just two things for me. The first is going to be a definite degree of just luck of the draw. First of all, you are, especially at non-full player counts, you're shuffling together random cards, and you'll just see what comes out. You might have a much higher proportion of you know, suns and wormholes and much fewer asteroids. You may have a game where you see, like you mentioned, our first game we played had like
1, 2, because every other thing, we had I think 3 2s that were actually in the thing. Only one came out as a 2, because others were taken as like moons.
And you can have that kind of luck in the draw of just what's in there as well as what comes out. Like, it doesn't help you if you reveal a card. You're like, oh, that's great, it's a wormhole, but it's immediately flipping down over here next turn, so there's not much you can do about it. You don't have guaranteed access to anything, and you can be hit with luck of the draw. And that's also true for your turns. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have the perfect cards, it's easy. If you don't have the perfect cards, it's a little more challenging in this trade-offs. But if you have a bunch of perfect turns and I have a bunch of imperfect turns, that luck of the draw will be there. And that kind of ties into my main complaint, ultimately, which is this is a little on the lighter side. You are trying to figure out what you can do, but I feel in terms of point scoring optimization games, we have a bunch of different criteria and you're trying to optimize around those, which Flat Out Games is great at. They do Calico and Cascadia and all of those. I do find this one is a little bit on the lighter side comparatively to those. It's a lot more focused on that quick play and the easy teach playtime accessibility, and a little less so on how you develop your board. Go ahead. Nothing?
No, I have things.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to start with the gameplay things and then the non-gameplay things.
Okay.
Gameplay-wise, I don't like that there are so many cards and that so many little actually come out. It seems like there are so many different cards in here that we might have not seen yet, because there's just an absurd amount of cards, but there's like half of those that are actually used in any given gameplay. And I also don't like the rockets. I
love the rockets.
They're too hard to get, and you don't have enough time to get them. Because you can maybe get like 3 rockets.
3 is pretty decent, honestly.
I know, but like the things on them also take such a long time to get. You just don't have enough turns to get the rockets and also get the things related to the rockets. Like, you can maybe focus on one rocket, maybe 2, but one's going to get neglected. If you have multiple rockets, some of them are going to get neglected, and they're either really hard things to do for a bunch of points, or really hard things to do for not a lot of points, or really easy things to do that are also for absolutely nothing.
I love how you're like, there's 3 kinds of ways of getting very little points. So I don't disagree with you on that part, by the way. I will say that when I played this game, I felt that the rockets felt like a big thing to get, and then felt like the reward for getting them wasn't huge. That said, I still like the fact that they give you something different each game. So each game you have a different little bit of like, this pool of cards, that's, you know, who knows what's going to come out.
It should be easy to get.
But you're like, oh, maybe I focus a very moon-heavy game and hope to get that rocket. Like, that could be a thing that pushes you into a slightly different gameplay. So I like that. But I agree with you, I was deflated by the points.
Then I have the things that are not gameplay related. First of all, sometimes the names of the planets are clever. But sometimes it's just random letters strung together to make something that is linguistically correct.
Hellenbop.
Yes, that is readable. It's also complete nonsense. Like, 6 was cute. 6 was clever, and the fact that every single planet X starts with the letter X is also cute. But some of these are completely random. Like, this is Nicholas.
Nicolas.
It just looks like it's French. It just looks like Nicholas spelled like someone who does not know how to write the word
kind of
French.
like how we have Hawken. That looks like there's just an extra K in there. Just throwing in extra letters or whatnot.
Yeah, and then the fact that these are called suns. This is a galaxy. These are multiple different galaxies.
Are
Stars are stars. They should be labeled stars. I don't care that they're all the same color and look the same. That they should be labeled stars. That is just the sciencey part of me.
Yeah, you're not wrong from a technical standpoint. Anyways, as far as final thoughts on Point Galaxy, what do you think?
I think this is a very cute game, and it's very fun to play. And I do think that most of the problems we listed could be improved by adding more turns.
Yeah.
Just simply doubling the amount of turns you have would make this so much.
You could house rule that anytime you want.
I know.
There's so many cards, we can do what we want.
Exactly. And I wish that these weren't, well, this is the thing I don't like. I wish these weren't quite as strict. Because let's say you take this and then your next round there isn't a single one of that color out there, then it's too bad for you. You don't get any of the points and you could have gotten a good card. I wish it was like you got like half. It was like an even number, and you got half the points for if you only got one of them, so it could still give you some sort of scoring for taking that risk.
How about next turn? Just don't take my one. We'll call it a day.
Yeah, what if I want that one?
Then you take my one, and we call it a day anyway, Brian. Yeah, we all call it a day, Brian. Do you know that?
No, I don't.
Brian Regan, comedian. Anyways,
I
what's your rating for this?
4.
4. I'm coming in slightly lower at a 3.5 out of 5. Don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy this game. I think it's a lot of fun. I kind of want to rate it a 4, but also I've played so many games in this point scoring optimization genre, and this one is a little bit on the lighter side for me. I have a lot of fun when playing it. I like it. I enjoy it, but coming in at a 3.5 out of 5. As far as other game recommendations, Ricky, what do you have?
Well, before game recommendations,
yes,
I actually really like that lightness, because I love these types of games where you have 20 different ways to score and you can score super high with any of them. And this one's like, if you want that style of gaming, but you're not really in the mood of committing to an hour, and this is like 15, 20 minutes, and then you've had the type of game you want, but you didn't have to make a super large commitment.
Yeah, like dollars to donuts, we're going to be finishing this game when we're done playing because it's that easy to play. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yes.
I don't disagree.
And back to my game recommendations, I would recommend Twinkle Twinkle, which I don't think is here right now.
Twinkle Twinkle is, actually, it is here, first of all. But Twinkle Twinkle, more importantly, is, where is it? It's somewhere on the floor. I think it's over there. Behind. Either way, Twinkle Twinkle is actually technically not out yet when you're watching this. It is one you can go ahead and back from All Play, if I'm not mistaken. It's another crowdfunding campaign. But it will be available at some point. And if you're watching this video in the far off distant future, you can probably get it right now. But for my recommendation, and it's also a great recommendation, by the way, mine is going to be Point City. Point City is also from Flat Out Games. The original game they actually had was called Point Salad.
What's Point City?
You haven't played it. Do you want to play it?
Okay, because I thought you were just missing Link City.
No,
again.
that's why I keep calling Link City Point City, because of Point City.
I thought you were calling it Point City because you were doing Point Galaxy.
Because there's a game called Point City. You know what? We'll get your hands on a copy and you'll play Point City. I think you'll like it. But Point City is so Flat Out Games has had 3 games in the series. There's Point Salad, Point City, and now Point Galaxy. Point City is definitely one worth checking out, and I believe it's probably my favorite from the 3. But I think my order is probably Point City, Point Galaxy, then Point Salad. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Ricky.
And have a good one.